And now, a Scared for Reals Extra.
Hey, this is Adam Perry.
This is Chris O'Neill. Adam, you got some news? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I thought we'd have a little fun today, Chris, and do something a little different, something we haven't done on the show. As we are recording, it is March 16th, and the past week or two, there's been quite a bit of horror news.
Okay.
Being thrown around all sorts of social medias and all over the press. So I thought, Chris, today it would be fun for me to pull up my iHorror app and go through some of the top topics being discussed in the horror community. Pick your brain, see what you think.
Excuse Adam while he whips this out.
So we'll start with the very first topic here that was written on the 15th.
Yeah.
Chris, did you like the Leprechaun series?
Not really. I did watch the first one, and I've seen bits and pieces of 2, 3, 4. I didn't get that. That's as far as I got. When the guys I think it's in Leprechaun 4, when his face gets flattened by one of those, what do you call those dishes that you carry items out on?
A tray.
A tray.
A tray. Yeah.
His face gets flattened by a tray. It's like, ooh, okay. I mean, I don't mind cheesy movies, but the Leprechaun movies, are they making another Leprechaun? Are they?
Well, so Felipe Vargas.
Okay.
Is now tagged to helm with Lionsgate, a reboot of the franchise.
No Warwick Davis, I imagine.
Nothing has been said about who will or will not be in it, who won't be returning.
For people who don't know, who is this Felipe guy that you speak of?
So he's the acclaimed director behind the award-winning short film Milk Teeth.
Ah, okay.
And that's really all that's said about him. And he just goes on to say that he's honored to be a part of this project, and he wants to return the franchise to its grounded roots with horror, comedy, sexy gore, yada, yada, yada. We're a day away as we're recording from St. Paddy's Day. You think the world needs more Leprechaun?
I don't think anyone asked for any more Leprechaun, and that's the problem with a lot of these, not just horror movies, but reboots, sequels. How many people actually ask for these? You know what I mean? There were 8 Leprechaun movies, if I'm not mistaken. There are 8 of them. I've never talked with anyone, and again, I have a short circle, as my wife reminds me when I spout my opinions, but in the online communities that I'm part of, I've never heard anyone say, man, I wish they'd make another Leprechaun movie. You know what I mean?
I mean, it does have a big following. It's kind of like Puppet Master, where you just have fans of just that franchise, but it's their niche.
They haven't made a Leprechaun movie in a decade at least. Like 2018, maybe?
Something like that. Yeah, I remember.
It's been almost a decade.
Yeah, the last one I remember being made was like a prequel movie or a sequel, and it starred that.
You're more on top of this than I am.
Well, I didn't see it, but I remember reading about it, and it had that pro wrestler Hornswoggle as the Leprechaun.
So he's taking over Warwick Davis?
I don't know if he's gonna, like I said, it doesn't say who's.
So they're just right now. They're just talking about
it. Right now it's in development.
Okay,
a new Leprechaun's in development.
Hopefully it stays that way, because there's no need to bring up another Leprechaun movie. I hear and see a lot of different industry chats. I've never once seen someone like do a tweet or a post, I wish they'd do another Leprechaun movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's Top Gun. I heard people talk about that for years. Ghostbusters. I've heard people talk about that. Yeah, it'd be cool to have another Ghostbusters movie. I've never heard anyone say, man, I wish they'd make another Leprechaun movie.
Well, we're getting one. It looks like. Well, it looks like for now.
They're just talking about
it. That's the direction we're going.
They've hired a director, but they don't even have a cast. So there is some hope that it will not get made. So what's next, Adam?
All right. So the next big thing that came out on the 14th, the much anticipated release of the full trailer for The Crow.
Yeah, I haven't 2024 seen that Crow trailer.
I have.
Bill Skarsgård is playing Eric Draven, right?
Yes.
I like him. If you want an intense, dark performance of any kind, you get one of the Skarsgårds to do it, but call it somebody different than Eric Draven. So you've seen the trailer. I have not seen it. I'm guilty. It was one of those things, and I know you didn't like it, and there's a lot of people online who are so disappointed in it because this is highly anticipated.
Very anticipated. I mean, like, this movie has been in development for well over a decade. At first, Jason Momoa was attached to play the title character.
Jason Momoa would have been so wrong because that guy.
I don't know. I saw a makeup test with him as
and he may look the part
way better than what Skarsgård's looking like.
Well, to heck with makeup, you want somebody who's dark and intense. Jason Momoa is not a guy who I think of immediately when you think of dark, intense performances. Mm-hmm. Jason Momoa as Aquaman, as the dude in Game of Thrones. Right. He did step outside of his comfort zone a little bit with the Fast and Furious, but that was kind of a goofy performance. I just can't see him doing dark and intense. You watch Stellan Skarsgård, Bill and Alexander's dad. Mm-hmm. You watch the original Insomnia movie. That is dark and intense, my friend. You see any of the Skarsgårds, Alexander's not as dark and intense, but Infinity Pool, which was, you want to talk about a dark, twisted movie. You get the Skarsgårds involved, you've got at least some intensity. I hated the It movies, but Bill was incredible as Pennywise. I did not like it. I'm not a huge Stephen King fan. We can do a whole show on me spouting off my hatred for Stephen King books and how they're overbloated and boring, but Skarsgårds are not boring. They're intense as hell and perfect for a Crow character. I like you think they should have probably gone with a different name.
That's just all right. So you gave me a lot there.
Yeah.
The first thing look, we're obviously not getting the Jason Momoa version of the Crow.
Thank God.
But just to be fair and to play devil's advocate, you don't know if he can go there.
Well, he hasn't shown it though.
Well, he hasn't been in a movie that allows him to do it. The Crow would have allowed him to do it. So he could have.
See it.
He could have.
They tried because Black Adam was another dark character, and The Rock failed miserably.
But that's not Jason Momoa.
No,
either,
but
though.
they're the same.
The Rock and
they're the same type of actors.
Unless you see it and give him a chance, you can't really say he can't do it. I mean, look at Michael Keaton as Batman. He was laughed.
Michael Keaton, before he did Batman, though, did a variety of roles. I never questioned.
But he was primarily a comedian, a comic actor.
Well, he did. They flopped, but he played some dark, twisted characters.
But still, he was primarily known as
a comedy actor. Yes. Gung Ho, Mr. Mom. Yes. Jason Momoa has never struck me in any movie he's been in. Oh, he can be a dark, very intense guy.
All I'm saying is he hasn't had the work to allow him to go there yet. Maybe the Crow would have allowed him to go there.
I don't see it. So maybe
until he's given a movie where his acting ability is tested, I have a hard time saying that he can't go there.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. Why don't we see Bill Skarsgård does before we judge him?
I'm not going to... My only problem with watching the trailer...
Yeah, I have not seen the trailer.
This is my problem with watching the trailer. It's not necessarily Bill Skarsgård and his ability to play a character like this.
It's probably the script and the story.
My problem is this, this is supposed to be a remake of a beloved movie from 1994.
Yeah.
All right. This movie, the story being presented in this trailer looks nothing like the story that was presented in 1994 or the James O'Barr comic book.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if it had any of those. Really?
To anything that's been presented in this, what it's trying to be. Now, the sequels to The Crow, to the original Crow movie, each Crow character, it was a different character. It was not Eric Draven. I would have been way more accepting of this trailer if it wasn't being presented as Eric Draven.
Well, that's what I've been saying is I think a lot of people would have been more comfortable and may have been willing to give this movie a shot if it wasn't the Eric Draven character.
Right.
Because, I mean, that's already been fleshed out. And I think the comic books, too, had different characters, right?
Yes.
Why are they obsessed with Eric Draven?
Again, because like everything, it's the name. It's the money.
Nostalgia.
It's the name. It's the money.
I've mentioned nostalgia many, many times, and this seems like another...
It's not even... I wouldn't even say nostalgia.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
it's the most recognizable name in the franchise.
Mainly because of Brandon Lee's tragedy.
Yep.
I'm sorry, if Brandon Lee didn't die during the making of that movie, in my opinion, I don't think it would have been as successful. It was still a good movie. It wasn't like, this is the greatest comic book movie I've ever seen.
There's so much to unpack there because the movie that Brandon Lee was shooting was not the movie that came out.
I know.
And he was signed on to do 2 sequels after the
I'm
fact.
just saying, like The Dark Knight, the movie had a tragic story involved, a real life tragedy that made the movie a huge box office success. Right. And if it wasn't for that, most people wouldn't care about Eric Draven, to be honest. Eric Draven, you immediately think of, Brandon Lee, that's a movie that killed him.
But again, we also, we can't know what happens without Brandon Lee dying and where this movie would have fallen in the lexicon of... Right,
exactly. If Brandon Lee hadn't died, I mean, the movie could have been an even bigger box office. I'm just saying the movie did very well financially because of the tragedy involved, just like The Dark Knight. Right. The movie, The Dark Knight, would have been just as successful, probably, but it was even more successful because of Heath Ledger's tragedy. Right. That's all I'm saying.
So my perspective is just by seeing the first trailer, to seeing the first images of Skarsgård as Eric Draven, I'm really starting to feel like how I felt about Universal's Invisible Man. It's going to be an entirely different story. The name is going to put you in the seat.
If they use a different name, I honestly think there would be less animosity online over this.
Probably. The Eric Draven character is so beloved and so remembered by... But on top of that, take Brandon Lee out of it. I'm knowing the Crow story and knowing the Eric Draven story from the comic books, this looks absolutely nothing like James O'Barr's original concept of Eric Draven and the Crow.
Well, all we have to do is hope and pray that it turns out to be like The Batman with Robert Pattinson, a movie that surprisingly is not bad.
All right. Well, I mean, again,
we'll have to wait and see.
Time will tell.
When I think it comes out next year, I think, or is it later this year? I can't remember.
I believe it's later this year that it comes out.
Because I mean, I'm sorry, unless
June 7th.
Oh, it's coming out pretty quick then.
Yeah.
If Martin Scorsese or one of my favorite filmmakers isn't attached, I don't pay as close of attention. But I will see this out of curiosity. I mean, I did like the first Crow movie. I tried watching the other ones. No, thank you. But Bill Skarsgård, like his dad and his brother, dark in intensity. Those are the guys you want as any Crow character. They've got the intensity and the darkness to pull it off. Just have to see their past work. Actually, fortunately, their dad grown out of that. He's done different types of roles. I mean, you look at his dad. Again, I've said this before. The original Insomnia and Good Will Hunting came out the same year. 2 completely different roles. Right. The Skarsgårds are brilliant, and I hope they keep doing a variety of roles. But anyway.
Well, we'll see what happens.
June 6th?
Yep.
All right.
The Universal's monsters and how they're trying to bring back the monsters. Well, Chris, we have a release date for The Bride, October 3rd, 2025. This is going to be a modern retelling of the classic Bride of Frankenstein.
Maggie Gyllenhaal's directing it, right?
Maggie Gyllenhaal directing.
Christian Bale playing the creature.
Yes.
I'll immediately watch it because of Christian Bale's being in it. He's a guy that's done a lot of bad movies, but I will watch a movie if Christian Bale's in it. And Maggie Gyllenhaal had a movie that wasn't too bad that she actually directed a few years back. Surprisingly, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'll watch it out of curiosity because it's like one of 2 Frankenstein movies that are coming out because Del Toro's got his.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, he's coming out not at the same time, but
I probably will see it.
Well, I hope you do.
I mean, but
Christian Bale is the monster. I mean,
but you know what? The way Universal has been trying to bring these monsters back has been nothing but one giant disappointment to me. Bringing this into a modern era. First of all, I think when we're talking about these classic Gothic monsters, I personally think they all should be period pieces, timeless, and trying not to make them current.
Goth is the bride.
I don't know, Chris. To make an entire movie devoted to the creature's mate, is there enough for a story there? In the novel, she's barely in it.
I know. Yeah.
And in the movie,
Yeah, I know.
she's barely in it.
2 minutes.
As iconic as Elsa Lanchester is and how iconic that image is, she's in it for 5 minutes.
If that.
I mean, the movie should have been put under its original title, The Return of Frankenstein.
Right.
That would have been more appropriate. So let me ask, do you think the Bride of Frankenstein focus, on the monster's mate, do you think there's enough there without going too crazy?
I think they're going to go crazy with a lot of feminist stuff, to be honest. They kind of did
With Invisible Man.
with Poor Creatures. That just it's an Oscar-winning film.
Yeah.
I thought Emma Stone winning her second Oscar was over Lily Gladstone. We won't go there. I thought that was a poor choice. But they kind of have a Frankenstein-esque storyline where Willem Dafoe is this creator who creates these beings.
Right.
And she has to discover how she fits into the world, and that's the whole movie. And my gut is telling me that they're going to kind of do that with The Bride. Again, Maggie Gyllenhaal's only directed one other movie, so I don't know. Her first movie wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see how it goes, but I'll watch it because Mia Goth is interesting. Christian Bale is just probably one of the most transformative actors out there now that Daniel Day-Lewis is retired. Again, it's not something I wanted or asked for, but since we're going to get it whether we like it or not, I'll give it a shot.
Having the Universal tag on it, I probably will watch it when it comes out.
Well, I hope you give it a shot because Mia Goth is unfortunately going to stick with these horror films. I wish she wouldn't, because if you watch the movie Pearl, she has this amazing monologue. It's like it came out of a melodrama.
Right.
Such an incredible performance. She's got potential to do a variety of roles. When I enjoy someone's acting, I love to see a variety of roles under their belt. And she has potential, but it's like if she keeps doing these weird off-kilter roles, it's going to kind of taint it a little bit. She does have potential to be a great actress. I just hope she gets to flex a little more than what she's been doing.
Fair enough. And yeah, I mean, so we'll see.
So I'm looking at it from a different perspective than the Universal monsters, because they haven't done well in decades.
Unfortunately, it's terrible.
Yes.
Part of me wants to be excited to see these classic monsters come back. Another part of me gets really scared and really turned off because of what we've seen so far in these attempts to...
There's going to be an agenda of some kind with this one. Just prepare yourself.
I'm sure there is. Talking about franchises that have really fallen by the wayside and have been destroyed, and
there's countless of those.
We're going to go in the world of Halloween. The Halloween franchise is no longer controlled by Blumhouse and Universal. It has been picked up by Miramax again.
Miramax.
And
I thought Miramax got bought by Disney.
Miramax has regained control of the Halloween franchise.
Without Weinstein.
But here's the thing. We are not going to get a theatrical Halloween movie. We are going to get a TV series.
I think I heard something about a TV series. They're also doing something similar with Friday the 13th with Jason.
I have an article about Friday the 13th we'll go to next. But they're on the fast track. They're excited is from what we're getting from... Mark Helwig, from the head of Miramax Worldwide Television. No plots or storylines have been announced. Who's returning? What characters are returning? Obviously, you have to think that Michael Myers will be back in some form of capacity. The funny thing about knowing the history of the Halloween franchise, like I do, they fought for years to keep it out of the quote-unquote direct-to-DVD life form,
because none of them were direct-to-DVD. They were all theatrically released.
They fought for years to keep it out of there, and like the Leprechaun franchise, like the Hellraiser franchise. All went to direct-to-DVD.
Eventually,
and now it's basically become that. Halloween is my all-time favorite horror movie. If I had to pick a favorite franchise, it will always be Halloween. It kind of breaks my heart to see that we've messed it up so much to now it can only live in a television or streaming and not in a major theatrical.
And Hollywood continues to shoot themselves in the foot because they continuously we're going to release this like a couple of weeks after the theater on streaming. So everyone, there's a lot of people like, why do I have to pay money to go to the theater when it's going to come out on streaming? And a lot of these movies fail. This is the dynamic. You put something that should be a theatrical movie onto a streaming platform and make it into a miniseries or whatever. It's like they can't find a good balance balance here. They can't.
I think with Halloween, I don't think it's a balance of.
They need to do something with that franchise.
I don't think it's a. Yeah, what I'm getting at is I don't think it's a balance of viewership because the viewers are there. I think this is a result of, and excuse my language, storytelling in movies. The last two Jason Blum Halloween movies were terrible.
That's the thing. They made a crap load of money, but were people really satisfied with the results?
Some people were. I mean,
I didn't hear a lot of that.
Listen, a lot of people were, and a lot of people weren't. I mean, there are Halloween fans out there that as long as they get Michael Myers, they're going to be happy. It doesn't matter what's going on the screen. It's a good bulk of the horror community that will be like that. Fans like me who love Michael Myers and love the Halloween franchises, but won't and say if the movie sucks or not. Halloween Ends sucked from start to finish. The movie sucked, and I'll challenge anybody who wants to debate me on that. It sucked.
Well, I saw 2 minutes, and I agree with you.
The last half of Halloween Kills sucked. Halloween 2018, I didn't mind. But again, for how much I love this franchise and I love the Michael Myers character, to see it finally succumb to just being a TV series, that one hurts. I don't think it's because of a lack of audience and lack of being able to generate money. It's a result of poor storytelling and poor movies. So we can blame Blumhouse for ruining Halloween for us. Apparently they're about to ruin another beloved franchise for us, and that's Friday the 13th, because Jason Blum is now eyeing the rights to the Friday the 13th franchise to make a Friday the 13th remake under the Blumhouse name.
Well, you know something, Adam? Both the Halloween and the Friday the 13th franchise, they've needed desperate attention years ago, way before Blumhouse.
Yes.
That's just
I agree with that. I mean, Friday the 13th case, the reason why we haven't had a good movie in really since Freddy vs. Jason is because it's been in litigation between Victor Miller and Sean Cunningham.
Yeah.
And they can't do anything with it.
I lost interest before that. It's like, okay, Jason Goes to Hell. It was okay. But then Jason in Space, I couldn't wrap my head around
the only
that.
reason why they did that was to maintain the rights. They needed to put the development hell that was Freddy vs. Jason. Sean Cunningham they were about to lose the rights to Jason, so they needed to put a movie out, and that's what they put out.
And then let's put Leprechaun in space.
Well,
too.
Everybody had their time in space.
Yeah, come on.
Even Pinhead and Bloodline.
Yeah, Godzilla did too. Space Godzilla. I love Godzilla franchise just as much as you love the Halloween one, but and that one had me going, what? Anytime these Earth things go into outer space, I kind of get lost. Unless they're like the Ice Pirates or Krull or some sort of outer space related stuff, I get kind of, what is going on here?
Right.
There's been attention needed for both Halloween and Friday the 13th. That's decades in the making. So is Blumhouse going to improve it? Probably not. Yeah. Is Miramax going to help out Halloween? Probably not.
No. We'll stick with Blumhouse for this next topic.
More Blumhouse.
According to Jason Blum, he is not thrown in the towel with The Exorcist and is confirming that The Exorcist Deceiver is scheduled to release and will happen.
The Exorcist Believer made a lot of money.
I haven't seen it. You
Again,
saw it.
Cashing in on nostalgia just for the sake of it. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, let's bring in Ellen Burstyn. And a sucker, I'm like, ooh, Ellen Burstyn. I wonder what they're going to do with the Chris McNeil storyline. What a bunch of garbage. It was just a nostalgic cash grab.
Yeah.
Just like Indiana Jones and Ghostbusters. It's just a nostalgic cash grab.
I'll argue that it was Ghostbusters Afterlife. Was it nostalgic? Yes. Was it just for a petty cash grab? No.
Not petty, but it was a cash grab. It was to make money.
No, I think it was a nostalgic to bring you back into the world for new movies.
And to make them money.
Everything's about making money, Chris. I mean, unless you're Martin Scorsese and make movies to not make money.
Oh, his movies make money. They're just not blockbusters.
Yeah. So everybody makes these movies to make money.
Okay.
Or else you wouldn't do it.
But you look at Peter Jackson though, with Lord of the Rings. He made those movies just to make money, but he loved the story.
Okay.
None of these guys who are making these movies.
You don't think Ivan Reitman and Jason Reitman and Dan Aykroyd didn't love Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Not like Peter Jackson did with Lord of the Rings. No.
That's their baby. They created it. The original.
I didn't have the same love for this one as I did the originals.
You didn't have the same love, but to suggest that Ivan Reitman, his last movie before he died, with Dan Aykroyd and his son, didn't have the love for Afterlife like they did all the other movies?
I don't know. It didn't feel like it. It didn't come across on the screen.
Dude, I think it did.
You know, The Notebook, which Nick Cassavetes directing his mom and how he envisioned his mom and dad, even though that movie wasn't great, you could feel the personal touches of that. I didn't feel that as much in Afterlife. There were certain instances, yes, it was okay. It didn't grab me like The Notebook or Lord of the Rings. The personal storytelling. That's what's missing a lot in movies these days. I didn't
with Ghostbusters, I totally disagree.
Well, it's okay.
Yeah.
Art is subjective, and I feel,
Indiana Jones 100%. Even with Crystal Skull, they lost the ball there.
They were starting to lose it, and then they completely lost it with Dial of Destiny. I'm not saying it wasn't popular, and I wasn't saying there wasn't some sort of camaraderie or love. It just I didn't see it come across the screen like I did with Lord of the Rings, like I did with The Notebook, like I did with any one of Scorsese's passion projects. There's got to be a sense of passion, and I didn't feel it with Afterlife.
All right, then. Well, if you like that debate, ladies and gentlemen, next week when we talk Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, tune in, because I have a feeling that's going to be a lot of fireworks. All right, so wrapping up this special news episode, Chris, one final topic. Again, back to the horror franchise juggernauts. We're talking Scream 7 now.
I heard about this. Neve Campbell's coming back.
Neve Campbell is coming. Not only is Neve Campbell coming back,
Kevin Williamson
is directing, the original writer
Kevin
of the
Williamson,
original movie.
Yeah, because Wes Craven directed it. Kevin Williamson wrote it.
Yes.
And then I think Kevin Williamson went off on his I Know What You Did Last Summer.
And Dawson's Creek and all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen here. My perspective, I thought Scream 7 was in serious trouble when they when Jenna Ortega opted out and they fired Melissa Berra. Yeah. For the social media posts of whatever the hell I don't even know what she posted.
I wish
don't really care.
Well, I understand everyone is entitled to their opinions on stuff, right. But when you put it out on social media, especially if you are a celebrity, you're going to fracture and alienate a chunk of your audience.
Right.
And I'm not, everyone has a right to freedom of speech.
Right.
But everyone has the right to retort. The company didn't like it, just like what happened with, what's her name in the Mandalorian. She got let go because of a political statement.
Right.
Not saying I agree with either or disagree with either or. When you're a celebrity, you put out your own opinions on stuff. You're going to alienate part of your audience, potentially a good chunk of it, and you're going to upset your employers. If I posted something on social media, my bosses could let me go as well.
Right.
It's just, and your bosses could do the same.
Yeah. I mean, again,
you got to be careful.
Yeah.
It's the more followers, the more popular you are as a celebrity. In my opinion, you've got to be very careful of it. Look what's happened to Robert De Niro, a revered actor, and he's got so many people against him now because of his opinions. And he has a right to them. He also has to understand that other people have a right to say what they want as well. They don't like what he's selling, so a lot of people have abandoned De Niro, and that could be another reason why any Scorsese movie starring De Niro and DiCaprio not successful, because people just don't want to see them in any movies.
I mean, there's definitely that, and you
gotta
know,
be careful.
Isolating your fans and stuff like that. But again, as I always tell everybody when we're talking about the industry, you got to remember, this isn't the movie love. This isn't the movie arts. This is the movie business. Any studio controlling a franchise like this, if they see that, they're going to lose even a minute amount of money, they're going to cut you quick. And it doesn't matter who you are. So again, not taking sides with this whole Melissa Berra thing. Again, I don't even know the post. I personally don't even care. But she did something to get herself cut, which led to Jenna Ortega, dropping out. And again, Scream 6 was a really good showing. People
it wasn't
really
bad. I actually saw that.
Yeah.
That was the first Scream movie I've seen since I think 2.
and people were really excited for what Scream 7 is going to be. But the studio has come back hitting hard with announcing the returning of Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott, and directing the Scream 7 will be Kevin Williamson. Yeah. So I am really interested to see where this goes. How about you, Chris?
I've never asked for any of these sequels or franchises. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
I've not a huge Scream fan. The first one was okay. I did not like the second one, and I actually did not watch any of them until Scream 6. So I totally missed the whole development, what was going on with the two sisters in Scream 5. But I mean, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
It was okay. They didn't try to take themselves too seriously, which I give them props for.
Right.
And it seems like these horror movies try to be serious. And it's okay to make it fun,
right?
You know. Well, let's hope with the revival of the Hammer Studio, because that was announced last year. Hopefully, we actually get some good quality horror movies now. Maybe.
Yeah. The horror genre right now is thriving. There's so much coming out, so much being developed. It's an exciting time to be a horror fan. Chris, we tried this little experiment today to do something a little different. I hope if you're listening, you like it. Tell us what you think. If you'd like to hear more episodes like this, talking about just current topics in the horror world and movie world, let us know.
Yeah, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, Twitter X, and Facebook. Send us a message, comment below, let us know what you think.